What's up guys, Mike's here. Alright, time to do another part of Moth and Flame. It's Voltron fanfiction story. There's like a sign language, more on like tattoos, piercings, concerts, and some other NSFW stuff which will be there later on. So I'm trying to be warning you about this because it's gonna get worse. So let's get to part 3, shall we? Okay. Let's do this. Okay, the stadium is huge, and they've got tickets in the nosebleeds, all the way in the top section, row U, just 5 from the first up. He doesn't mind though. He can't understand pinching a penny from the cheaper seats, and at least from up here, he can see everything. Sure, the dudes on stage would be small, but that's what the big video screens behind them are for. Lance, what are you doing? Hunt asked, coming up next to him and putting his hands on the railing. Lance shrugs. It's just watching all the little punklings run for cover. Not all of them are punklings. Some of them are old enough to be our dads. True enough, but punks of all ages run for the sun. They're up on the 4th floor of the outdoor stadium, and he's found a perch against the railing, leaning forward with his forearms resting on it. From up here, he can observe people on the 3 floors below, and the boy is there, a wide array of people. There are kids in their teens, young adults, their age, ranging all the way to dudes and ladies who reminded him of his parents. A lot of them are dressed in black, and while he can appreciate the aesthetic of it all, he also understands that it's middle of July and it's hot AF. Still, gotta admire the dedication to the look, though he finds it amusing to see all the little clusters of black-clad punklings clinging to the shadows. He can't make it fun of them, although, after all, they're doing the same thing. Turns out Pitch accidentally nabbed them tickets on the side of the stadium that faces the setting sun. The hot July setting sun. So yeah, they're camping out below stands until the concert starts. Hung seems to be thinking along the same lines. Dude, we're running from the sun. Lance snorts, waving him off. I'm not running from the sun. I'm just appreciating the atmosphere. Hung makes a show of looking around, eyebrows raised high. You mean the atmosphere of crowded spaces that smell of smoke, weed, and overpriced beer? Exactly. It's the concert experience. Where the others disappear to. He shrugs, eyes still idly people watching the crowds below. He tries to be nonchalant about it, but truth be told, every glimpse he gets of shaggy black hair has his heart skipping into overdrive before plummeting to his stomach in disappointment. Said they were gonna go check out the merch tables on this level. Don't know if they'll find much, but they're probably less crowded than the ones below. You didn't want to go? Nah, I'll be able to find the merch online for cheaper in a few months. Hunk nods softly. Good point. A companionable silence falls between them. Classic rock echoes through the stadium, played through the speakers as they set up for the first band. Fractions of conversations drift by. A man shouts about selling beer. Below, he sees someone with black hair, medium build, black shirt, pale skin. Lance straightens just a fraction, but then they return. Nope, not him. His shoulders droop once again. You're looking for him, aren't you? Hunk says, amusement in his voice. Lance sniffs indignantly. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, hey, is that Keith? Where? Lance snaps, straightening and slapping his hands on the railing, eyes frantically searching the walkways below. But Hunk's sudden burst of laughter interrupts him. He turns to glare at his best friend. You, he says, punching his arm, are an asshole. His laughter dies down, one hand to his chest while the other wipes a tear from his eyes. His smile is bright, and Lance can't find it in him to be too mad. I'm sorry, dude, but that was priceless. Why you gotta whistle my heart like this, Hunk? Sorry, buddy, he says, still chuckling as he pats his back. Won't happen again. He looks up then, lifting a hand in a short wave. Those Laura and Pitch. He turns then, crossing his arms over his chest and leans his hip against the railing. He raises an eyebrow as the two walk up to them. No merch? Allura shakes her head, making her thick braid bounce. She dressed to the aesthetic, but also the consideration to the sun, and she's chosen one of her fancier septum rings. Black beauty in black, looking like she could gut him, and he paid her to do so. Just scooping it out, Paige flops over the railing next to Lance, crossing her arms over the top and resting her chin on it as she observes the city skyline. "I gotta wait and buy some online." Lance nods and holds set of fists. "Smart." "Thanks." Pinch bumps it, then straightens, eyeing catching on something below. "Hey, isn't that Keith?" Lance rolls his eyes. "Ha ha ha. Very funny." "No, really, it's Keith and Shiro." Lance whirls around, putting his hands on the railing to steady himself. His eyes snap to Pinch's finger, gaze following where she points until there he is. Lance will know that mop of hair anywhere. Looking at it now, he's not sure how he ever mistook anyone else for Keith. Wishful thinking, maybe. But when it comes down to it, no one compares. No one comes close. He's down at the bottom floor, far, far below. He and Shiro look so small, details lost to the distance between them. But Lance finds his heart racing away. Keith. Keith is here. Keith is there. Right there. He saw the guy last week, but this is different. This was at work. This is here. A casual outing. A concert. No barriers of professionalism and jobs getting between them. His mouth opens before he really gets a chance to think about it, enthusiasm pushing him ahead of himself. He leans out over the railing, about to wave, when his mouth snaps shut, keeps name still fresh on his tongue. His jaw clamps shut so quickly that his teeth clack together. What is he doing? "You were about to call out to him, weren't you?" He says, and when he turns to glare at them, she finds their lips upturned to a Cheshire grin, chin resting on their crossed forearms, sunlight glinting off their nose ring. He points at her, hoping his scowl covers up the heat rising up his neck. "You! Shut up!" Pidgeot's grin widens. He turns back to the floors below, eyes snapping up to the spot where Keith and Shiro were standing. They hadn't moved, but that can change quickly. He can't call out to Keith, but he doubts any amount of flailing from this height will catch their attention, especially when they're not looking up. He could get Pitch to text Keith or Allura to text Shiro. "Shiro!" Lance shouts, lean over the railing as he waves a hand in big, sweeping motions. A foot lifts up behind him, and he hears Hunk gasping his name before he grasps the back of his shirt. Good guy, Hunk, keeping him from busting his face in front of hundreds. With the added support behind to keep him steady, he cups both hands around his mouth. "Shiro! Up here! Look up!" It works. The man's head tilts back, confusion coloring his features, until his gaze settles on Lance and recognition hits him. He smiles, nudging Keith with his elbow and pointing up. The moment Keith's eyes met his, and that pouty little mouth curls into a breathtaking grin, Lance's heart downright skips a beat. And, well, that's pretty freaking gay. But right now, he really doesn't care. His waving calms now that he has their attention, but cheeks ache with his smile. He can hear his friends snickering, and God, this is so embarrassing. But he can't stop, doesn't want to stop, not when Keith is looking at him like that. Keith holds his gaze as his hands move, and it takes Lance a moment to realize he's saying, What are you doing here?" He makes his sign with wider gestures, trying to make sure he can't be seen from so far away and at the odd angle. "They surprised me with tickets for my birthday." "It's your birthday?" "Not yet. End of the month." He starts to sign something else, but he's jostled as a group pass by him. He turns to stare, and Lance chuckles, knowing exactly what kind of pouting scowl he's no doubt wearing. When he turns his head back to look at him again, Lance wastes no time saying, "Meet me halfway." He points to the stairs, and Keith turns to look before looking back up at him and nodding. There's only a moment of silence before they're both running off to the stairs. He can hear his friends shout behind him, but their words are lost as he rushes through the crowd, weaving through people as his heart pounds. He tears down the stairs, going as fast as he can without busting his face, jumping the last few steps before each turn around and holding the rail to whip him around to the next flight. He loses track of how far down he gets before he nearly barrels into Keith. They freeze, Keith a couple steps below him, and for a moment they just stare, chest heaving, smile ghosting their lips, crinkling their eyes, hands on the railing to keep him steady. Lance's heart beats a heavy and rapid staccato against his ribcage, blood racing through his ears. Keith is right here, right in front of him, beautiful and grinning those rare, full-out smiles that never failed to make his heart melt and his knees weak. He was so excited for this moment. He was hoping for it, praying for it, and now that it's here, he has no idea what to say. The moment stretches, people pass by them, and finally Keith breaks the eye contact, looks him up and down, and makes a show of it. Takes in the shorts he picked specifically because they make his ass look great. The old Metallica shirt that he once found in a thrift store and ripped the sleeves off to make a muscle tank. The snapback perch on his hand. He eyes it for a moment, humming softly to himself before his gaze drops into Lance's. He smiles, a small quirk of his lips, no longer big and bright, but no less genuine. The silver of his lip ring cuts through the center of his bottom lip, catching the light and looking oh so tempting. There's appreciation in his gaze, a sly softness that has heat prickling the back of his neck, even as shivers rack down his spine. He tips his head to the side. You look like a douche. Lance snorts, rolling his eyes before adjusting the key with his free hand, waving up and down. Takes in his red chucks, the black cargo shorts, and a bench sevenfold shirt that's been cut into a crop top and had the neckline torn out of it. Len exposed more of his shoulders. His hair is pulled back into a high, messy ponytail, making his pale, slender neck stand out, and a black choker decorating it. Lance wants to sink his teeth into his shoulder, leave marks on that neck, runs his nails along his exposed lower back. And you look like my middle school emo crush. Keith's lips quirk a little more as he signs in response. Was she cute? He used to sign for a girl instead of doing the typical gender neutral and vague pronoun. It's such an odd and specific enough choice that stands out. Yeah. Lance signs back, and a side grin smile on his lips. He deliberately signs the word for boy. He was. He winks, and delights in the color that rises to Keith's cheeks, the flash of something in his eyes. But the moment between them and a small little bubble where only they exist and time has stopped, shatters as Shiro comes up to the stairs, stopping on the landing several steps below them. Lance sees him first, and when Keith notices him looking, he turns. Shiro gives them both a look. It's tired and attempt at frustration, but he's too far too amused to full commit to her. Can you guys at least stop blocking the stairs? They exchange small smiles as they trudge down the steps to meet Shiro on the landing, sitting off to the side and out of the way of the foot traffic. Lance leans his hip against the concrete, turned to face them both. So, where are your seats? We're way up the top, he asked, hoping against hope they're also up in the nosebleeds. Keith looks sheepish, glancing behind him Shiro before turning back to Lance, gaze on his feet before looking up through his lashes. We actually have floor tickets. Lance's mouth drops open, gawking, and his gaze flickers back and forth between them. He has turned bashful, but Shiro just looks amused. Arms crossed over his chest as he watches them both. Floor tickets? Those girls are expensive, like several $100s a pop. He doesn't know how much about Keith's financial situation, but he didn't think the guy had enough to just be dropping Benjamins left and right. Keith rubs his arm and shrugs, but it's Shiro who steps forward and explains. It's louder at the floor. Keith can feel the vibrations from the music easier, so it's worth it. Lance feels his lips form a small O of surprise as it dawns on him. Oh, he hadn't really thought about how Keith would be able to enjoy the concert, but that makes sense. His little sister likes a lot of music with heavy bass, likes to listen to it loud enough to feel it. Wow, Now it feels like a douche. He cracks a smile, sighing and simple. Make sense. While trying to cover up the fact that his stomach is twisting with disappointment. The awkward silence falls between them. Lance isn't sure what to say, and is trying to fight the bitter taste in his tongue. He tries to look casual, letting his eyes roam over the people climbing up the stairs. He sees Keith glancing at him out of the corner of his eyes, and sees him turn to Shiro before saying something. He turns in time to catch it. Trade tickets with Lance. Shiro blinks, eyebrows rising high before furrowing lips, form a small pout as his shoulders slump. But they're floor tickets. He glares at him, lips pursed into a thin line. He stands straight, shoulders square, like he's trying to squeeze him up or intimidate him. Fat chance of that. He might have a decent build to him, but Shiro is ripped. Still, Shiro pouts and what's under his brother's gaze. A fluttering of hope stirs in his chest, butterflies in his stomach. He stands up a little straighter, turning just a little more to face him. Eyes wide, Shiro doesn't fully bend until he glances over Keith's shoulder, and he catches sight of Lance's puppy dog eyes. The pouted lip. He puts a hand to his chest, sighing a subtle "Please." Behind Keith's back, Shiro sighs defeat in his posture. Fine. He digs to his pocket, pulling out his folded ticket and holding it out to Lance. When Keith turns to look at him, he catches a small smirk of victory, the excited glint in his navy eyes. And holy f***, it's Lance week for this boy. He digs out his own ticket and trades it out with Shiro's. Thanks, Shiro. Seriously. He waves him up, but he can't hide his disappointment. It's fine. I expected this might happen. Lance slides forward, wrapping a conspirational arm around his shoulders and leaning it close. He speaks slowly and slightly smile on his lips, sighing as best he can with one hand. But now you get to spend the concert with Alora. And Lance has been said a lot of happy dogs in his days. Few things could surpass the pure, unbridled excitement and soft innocence of an excited puppy. But boy, did the look on Shiro's face come close. Oh, dang. Okay, that is it for today. That's it for this chapter. I don't know what to say. Well, it's pretty funny when I have to just look back and just sit back and just watch the whole thing and just let it all out. So that is it for today, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. So once again, you know what to do. Bye guys.